everyone, my name is D'Avion Lewis and welcome to Prompt 1. For Prompt 1, I use two second grade standards, the first being MGSE 2.MPT.3, which is read and write numbers to 1,000 using base 10 numerals, number names, and expanded form. I also use the standard SS2G1.B, which is locate on a physical map the major rivers of Georgia, Savannah River, Flint River, and Chattahoochee River. Now, what should students know after being taught the standard MGSE 2.MBT.3? Well, they should be able to represent numbers in base 10 blocks. They should be able to understand numbers as being composed of groups, hundreds, tens, and ones, and not just individual digits. And they should be able to know how to write numbers in expanded form, picture form, and word form. Now, what should I know before I teach this standard? I should know about the place volume system and how numbers are built from hundreds, tens, and ones. I should be able to know how to model numbers in more than one way, whether it's concrete way, a visual way, or abstract way. And I should know how to move from blocks to numbers. Now, differentiation. Differentiation means adapting what we teach, our content and how we teach, the process and how students show their learning, the products to match their needs, interests, and levels of readiness. Tomlinson, author of the Differentiated Classroom, Response to the Needs of All Learners, second edition states, continuous assessments are used by teachers to group students in flexible groups that offer the right amount of support. So this means that differentiation prevents overload and it provides the right scaffolds and ensures that every learner has access to learning and development. It is also uncovered by research that differentiation helps to create more equitable and effective learning according to research. Now, pedagogical content knowledge. Well, PCK helps teachers turn hard ideas into simple learning, and it also turns subject knowledge into effective teaching and helps students connect new ideas to their own understanding. And teachers with strong PCK transform subject knowledge into student learning by anticipating student struggles, using clear strategies, and adapting to student needs. So how did I show differentiation in my classroom? I had hands-on manipulatives, so base 10 blocks, anchor charts around, which is a visual cue of the skill, and I also provided place value charts if needed. PCK in my classroom, I provided feedback, I addressed any misconceptions, and I modified the instructions to meet students' needs if I had to. Now, my first approach to instruction was modeling. Definition of modeling is an instructional technique where the teacher demonstrates a process, concept, or skill explicitly by thinking aloud and showing step-by-step steps so that students can observe how learning is applied, according to research. It provides an explicit model to follow before the students perform the activity on their own. It reduces confusion and builds confidence. Now, what's the rationale of this? Well, modeling is important because it shows students how, for this lesson, a number can be represented in different ways. And the process helps students connect concrete manipulatives with the pictorial charts and abstract figures, reinforcing the base 10 concept even more. So by watching and hearing, for me, the step demonstrated students learn the numbers learn that numbers are flexible and can be decomposed or recombined, which builds a stronger foundation for future problem solving. So how do I prepare learning opportunities for all students? Well, I support all my learners by offering choice, like letting them either write an expanded form, they can draw it out, or use a chart so that every student can feel as though they found a way that makes sense to them. And students could also use manipulatives to aid in their learning to help understand place value. To manage behaviors, I made sure to set clear expectations for starting a lesson. I offered quick opportunities for students to chat by having them engage in a turn and talk, like tell your partner different place values. And then for independent work, making sure that there's a visible timer on the board to help students manage their time. So the modeling approach in my classroom, so what I do, I showed on chart paper number 126 in three different ways: expanded form, picture form, and word form. And then I concretely showed how to use manipulative to show how many hundreds, tens, and ones are in the number 126. For the we do, students will practice breaking down a number with base 10 blocks with the help of myself. And then they also have to show on their whiteboards, the number as well in an expanded form and in word form. So then the students, their you do was, after modeling a few examples, the students were tasked to show a three-digit number they had to build using the dice and three model representations. And then some students took the challenge, though, to show more than one representation of that number. So here are my artifacts. Here's my visual cue, my anchor chart showing that number 126 in three different ways. There's a picture of myself and my students. I showed them how to show a number with base 10 blocks and write it out. And then afterwards, they had practice. And then I had a student that accepted the challenge and showing her number 521 in different ways. So this is my evidence. All right, and then the second approach to instruction was music and songs. So how do I differentiate this in my classroom? Well, I incorporate movements for my cassette learners. I use pictures and labels to support my visual learners, and then I slow down the song if I had to give students time to remember the lyrics and the placement of the rivers. Now we're going to my second standard. Piece of care in my classroom, I connected the song to the content. Again, I use multiple strategies, so movement and visuals, and then I also explain the why. So, which is the lyrics can help them understand the content. So, what should students know before the standard, being taught the standard SS2G 1.B? Well, they should know after how to find the Savannah, Chattahoochee, and Flint rivers on a map of Georgia. They should be able to describe where each river is located and which part of Georgia it flows through and explain how these rivers are important to Georgia. Now, what should I know before teaching this standard? Well, I should know where the Savannah, Chattahoochee, and Flint rivers are located on the Georgia map. I should have an understanding of how the rivers connect to Georgia's regions, Blue Ridge, Piedmont, Coastal Plain, and so on. And I should know what visuals and hands-on activities like maps and tracing river paths that can help students learn more effectively. All right, so music and song definition. Using music and song as a technical teaching method is using rhythm, melody, and lyrics to help teach and retain information. Songs can be used to educate students on new concepts, remind them of definitions, or help them remember key ideas through representation and rhythm. Music also builds motivation and creates a positive, accepting classroom culture that caters to various learners. According to Buer, 1995 research, music involves several areas of the brain and allows students to retain information more effectively and allows them to learn more meaningfully. So the rationale behind this, well, music and song are useful tools for teaching because they make lessons more engaging and accessible. And then for me, teaching about the Georgia rivers, I wanted students to learn in a fun way. So when students sing or listen to songs related to the lesson, they connect emotionally and cognitively to the content. And then we all know kids love music. And this strategy supports language development, builds cultural connections, and helps with classroom community and focus. And research shows that incorporating music into instruction improves memory, attention, and motivation for students of all backgrounds and learning styles. So how do I prepare learning options for all my students? Well, music and songs made the learning enjoyable. All my kids were engaged, they were into it, and it helps, again, keeps them, wanting to learn, keep them engaged. And then songs can be used to introduce new vocabulary, review classwork, and help students recall facts. So in this instance, the song my students were taught, this was to help them recall facts, like recall the placement of each river on the Georgia map. This aid English language learners with pronunciation and language and offers extra practice for struggling students. So using songs and beats from different cultures can also make students feel accepted and welcome. So how do I manage behavior? Well, music can be used in many ways and is great for behavior management. So since I know that we are going to be having fun, there was music that I made sure that told kids, okay, do a little dance, to help them not get distracted. And so while they're singing, since they're dancing, maybe they can create a little movement that can help them remember where the Georgia River is on the map. And that, you know, using music in this manner, keeps routines clear and allows for a positive environment and learning space. So students sung the Georgia Three Rivers song to help recall where the three Georgia rivers are located on Georgia's map. And the song uses the hip hop beat and flow from the song London Bridges. And students have to later recall where each river was located on a Georgia map worksheet, and the song aided in remembrance. All right, so I included a video that's also part of my portfolio of the students singing and feeling the beat and recalling where each Georgia River is. And then I included worksheets the students later did after to see if they recalled where each Georgia River is located on the Georgia map.